Just letting you guys know, this is just a repost of a conversation that was audio recorded. Sgt Martinez, this is Troy Reese. We spoke yesterday, and I think you're clear on it. I'm clear on it, but some of your officers are still not clear on it. Those public sidewalks down along Via Centro's property.
Yes, sir.
You've told me I can walk down them. Some of your officers do not understand that. So I'm asking you, how do you expect, or how am I supposed to explain that to those officers if they approach me again? Because one of them did today, and I'm like, I can be on this sidewalk, call your supervisor, and I left.
Do you know what officer it was by any chance?
It was a security officer, and to be honest with you, I didn't want to be arrested. I just said, I'm out of here. I mean, it was after I spoke at a lengthy time with Officer Baker. This was before your shift. It wasn't on your shift. But again, because I'd spoke with you and we cleared this up, I'm like, man, see, I knew this was going to happen. Specifically, my concerns are with three officers because while I know everyone around there has spread the word, oh, that activist, we gave him a criminal trespass, my concerns are for the officers who actively know about it, which would be Officer Alvarez, Officer Gutierrez, Officer Caballeros. Can you just make sure specifically that those officers know I can walk down the sidewalk?
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay, I would appreciate it. And then again, if another officer, is telling me, I'm not trying to cause problems. But again, I'm an activist. I do conduct business. I spoke with Mr. Scheit today. I do have public records requests in, things like that. And you were like, hey, just call dispatch first. I'm like, hey, when I have to go down and pick it up, I'll do that to make sure there's not a problem. But again, walking down the sidewalk, you get guards that, they're over anxious to do things. And again, it's like, look, dude, I'm not on your property. I'm not trying to give you grief, but I'm also not going to, have to worry about, bailing out of jail again over something so petty. So, in the meantime, if it is on your shift, can I just ask them to contact you immediately?
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay, I greatly appreciate that, Sergeant Martinez. Sorry to bother you again, but again, like I told you the other day, too many of your officers, you say that, but they just don't know that. Well, I don't understand where the communication gap is, but I mean, I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to make your guards look bad, but if I get arrested for criminal trespass for walking on the sidewalk, I'm not going to have a choice at this point but to sue via. I don't want to go that route. I've never sued the city. I've been arrested now 4 times. Everything's always been dismissed, and I'm like, I don't need to sue over this. Just don't do it again. But with the history of via continuing to do it, I'm like, I'm doing whatever I can to keep it from happening. I hope you understand. That's the reason why I'm calling you now.
Okay. Did you have anything else?
No, just if you could just make sure those 3 specific officers are aware of it, because like Officer Caballeros told me, he's like, well, no one else should even know except for the officers here. And I'm like, yeah, but we all know that's not the case. Otherwise, that officer wouldn't have approached me today during the daytime. I mean, so thank you very much. You have a great evening. I'll probably be back around that area around 8 o'clock tonight, but I won't be hanging out long. If I am, I'll be on the sidewalk, the actual sidewalk, where I spoke to you the other day, just documenting the fire lane again like I normally do. Okay?
You have a great day.
Okay, you too.
The law that we comply with, the Texas Public Information Act.
Sorry, that rolled over into my conversation with Mr. Scheit. But again, I'm making sure I post up for anyone else who has had this problem. Their sergeants telling people, no, we can't arrest you for walking on these easements along Travis and Houston Street, along Medina Street, along Frio Street. But their officers and guards do not care. They just don't care is the problem. And when they don't care, even though their supervisors are aware of it, and I asked the supervisors, make sure you tell your officers this. Why is it some officers keep making these arrests when none of your convictions are upheld and you know you shouldn't be doing it, and you tell me, no, we won't do that, but the same officers repeatedly do it. So again, I'm posting this so that other people, if you have issues, you can use this as a reference. And again, I'm not out trying to make VIA look bad. They do that on their own. But if you don't document things and you don't document, you've gone out of your way to make sure that the bad behavior stops and they continue with it. At this point, there's really no other option but for people to start suing VIA. They've had plenty of time to correct it, to make sure their officers are aware, to educate their officers, but they continue to do it. And so they can continue giving us these BS charges and whatever else. Like they say, you can beat the rap, but you'll never beat the ride. And because of them qualified immunity, they face no consequences whatsoever. And the system, they're not going to encourage their officers to stop making these bogus arrests. As Sgt Martinez said just yesterday, well, even if there's exculpatory evidence, we're going to let it go to trial. I'm like, see, that's just ridiculous. You can't be doing that. It's immoral. It's wrong. But you do what you got to do. There's a reason that these arrests are never upheld, that they never get convictions. Most people just take a plea bargain and go, okay. But don't do that, folks. Do not let them get away with it. Thank you again for your time.